This is the Qtv Nightly News, which is also on Q Radio 103.3 FM, and I am Jul Denjai. Thank you for joining us. Here are the headlines. One day after they had been acquitted and discharged. After a lengthy trial, Bojangs and his sister Ami Bojangs have again been arrested and returned to Mile 2 Central Prison. President Barrow has expressed satisfaction with the progress of new accident and emergency ward at the Bansang Hospital funded by the Fatoumata Barrow Foundation. Nearly 2 years after a landmark conviction, the appeal trial of former Gambian Interior Minister Usman Sonko has opened in Switzerland. A case has been closely followed both in the Gambia and internationally. The Gambia inaugurated the Civil Service University, formerly known as the Management Development Institute (MDI), in a major education reform drive. Excitement is building as QCell's annual Tobaski and Style fashion show makes its highly anticipated return as the 2026 edition was launched on Monday at the QCell Auditorium. The Public Utilities Regulatory Authority, PURA, has presented water quality reagents and testing equipment valued at $1 million to the Department of Water Resources. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. Thank you very much for staying with us. If you are just tuning in, this is QTV News. Now, one day after they had been acquitted and discharged, after a lengthy trial, Bojangs and his sister Ami Bojangs have again been arrested and returned to Mile 2 Central Prison. Here is more in this report. Their trial over the killing of 2 PIU officers and the wounding of another in September 2023, siblings Usenu and Ami Bojangs were acquitted and discharged by Justice Ibrahima Jaite, who in Monday's lengthy judgment found in several major flaws in the state's case. On the pronouncement of the verdict, the state had made clear its intention to appeal the verdict, requesting the detention of the 2 accused. However, Defense Counsel Lamin J. Dabo objected, citing that the 2 are free of the charges and cannot be remanded. Justice Jaite agreed, granting the 2 bail. Despite that, in dramatic footage by journalist Keksane, the 2 can be seen first being taken to police headquarters in Banjul and later to Mile 2 Central Prison. At the time of this broadcast, we have not heard what the charges against the 2 are. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jul Denyai. Now, President Adama Barrow has expressed satisfaction with the progress of new accident and emergency ward at the Bansang Hospital funded by the Fatoumata Barrow Foundation, describing it as a major boost to healthcare delivery in the provinces. Aliou Cisse reports.
While on his ongoing nationwide tour to visit various infrastructure, mostly PRS projects, President Barrow, accompanied by First Lady Fatoumata Barrow, visited the Bansang Hospital on Monday to inspect ongoing construction work on a modern accident and emergency facility funded by the First Lady's Fatoumata Barrow Foundation. The new structure is expected to significantly improve emergency response and patient care in the region and beyond.
I'm really surprised by even the size of the building. And the structure is solid. It's a story building foundation. That means you can add more structures on top of the building. That is very innovative going forward. And we have to thank the FAB Foundation for the support. They are complementing government efforts.
The President noted that Bansang Hospital has long been one of the most important referral centers in the provinces, but has long struggled with limited accident and emergency facilities.
They were challenged, especially with accident and emergency. They were challenged with that. And building this building will definitely change that, because it is more conducive, the environment is more accommodating for the doctors and for the patient.
Constructed by Jigo, a Gambian company, President Barrow says the project highlights the government's commitment to supporting competent Gambian contractors.
So definitely what we have seen, we are very much happy. And also we have to commend the contractor. This building, 6 months. It took them 6 months to build such a building. And it's a Gambian contractor, Jigo Construction. Obviously, we always try to support local contractors who are serious. Because we don't want to say only we want to Gambianize. To Gambianize for the sake of Gambianization is not enough. You have to be very, very serious, you have to deliver.
Ibrahim Abaji, Bansang Hospital's administrator, says the new ward comes at a critical time as the facility continues to receive a high number of accident cases from across the region and beyond.
For this project, a very significant gap was the capacity to contain that large number of accidents and emergencies that comes to the hospital. So this proposal was seen. Now we wrote proposals and FAR Foundation bought it. They got funds and then now the building is here. We can take a lot of accidents that came. Even at the same time, we were able to contain them and then sort them out in an orderly manner. And then that will be a chance so many of them will be survived.
As they look forward to the expected completion of this structure in April, President Barrow is calling on philanthropists and development partners to complement government's effort to expand healthcare infrastructure. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliu Sise.
Now, nearly after 2 years after a landmark conviction, the appeal trial of former Gambian Interior Minister Ousmane Sonko has opened in Switzerland. The case is being closely followed both in the Gambia and internationally as it touches on justice for crimes committed during the rule of former President Yahya Jammeh. Let's have more report in this by Ade Drame.
What do you make of the decision of the court?
Firstly for myself and also on behalf of every other victim, it is very significant and we are very happy that the court has recognized the crimes and responsibility and role Ousmane Sonko had played as one Interior Minister, one as IGP and another part where he was the head of the state guards. You cannot just oversee the torture of the people and you just say I'm not responsible. So the fact that the judge has very clearly stated that he was held responsible for these actions, even though he had said he was not physically there, is very significant to the Gambian people. It's made us happy as victims to see that this has happened and to hear the strong words. And I would just generally say we are really pleased.
Those were the words of Aji Fatou Sandeng, the daughter of the late Solo Sandeng, who was also the founder and CEO of the Solo Sandeng Foundation, following Sonko's sentencing in 2024, the very sentence which Sonko has now appealed. The appeal proceedings began this week in the Swiss city of Bellinzona, where Sonko is challenging his 2024 conviction for crimes against humanity. The Swiss Federal Criminal Court had previously found Sonko guilty of offences including homicide, torture and unlawful detention committed between the year 2000 and 2016, and he was therefore sentenced to 20 years in prison. Sonko, who served as Interior Minister under Yahya Jammeh, denies these charges. His defence argues that some of the alleged crimes took place before Swiss laws on crimes against humanity came into force in 2011 and therefore should not be prosecuted in Switzerland. However, prosecutors and lawyers representing the victims strongly disagree. They say the acts fall under international law and should be fully recognised, especially allegations of sexual violence which were not included in the original conviction. This case is considered historic, as Sonko is the highest-ranking former official ever tried in Europe under the principle of universal jurisdiction. This allows countries like Switzerland to prosecute serious crimes even if they were committed elsewhere. For many Gambians, the trial represents a rare opportunity for justice. 5 victims have travelled from the Gambia to attend the appeal hearings, hoping that their voices will continue to be heard. The case also comes as the Gambia itself works towards setting up its own tribunal to prosecute crimes committed during Yahya Jammeh's 22-year rule. One victim said they hope the process will bring truth, accountability and healing. The hearings are expected to continue until at least mid-April 2026, and a final decision could still be subject to further appeal. So, as proceedings continue, many will be watching closely, both here in the Gambia and around the world, to see what this case means for justice, accountability and the country's ongoing reconciliation process. For QTV News, I am Ade Daram.
The Gambia inaugurated the Civil Service University, CSU, formerly known as the Management Development Institute, MDI, in a major education reform drive aimed at reshaping higher education and strengthening public sector training. Yafa Tugay attended the event and she now reports.
Now is the time for us to reclaim that independence that we called for in 1965. Now is the time for us to come out and be builders of this nation.
For over 45 years, MDI has served as a key national institution since its establishment, providing training, research and consultancy services to the public, private and non-governmental sectors. Now elevated to a university status, the Civil Service University CSU is set to offer degree programs across various civil service disciplines, marking a significant step towards more advanced and specialized higher education for public servants. Fatu Ebari, the Deputy Provost, and Dr. Burama El Jamme, the Chairman of the university's governing council, outlined key milestones achieved since the start of the transformation.
We are going to invest more in technology so that our programs can be delivered on distance learning to our diplomats and aspiring professionals outside the country can enroll.
This is a point of emphasis that no country can achieve sustainable development without a competent and accountable public service. Civil Service University is therefore a strategic investment in the future of governance in the Gambia.
Ibrahim Adabo, president of the Student Union, outlined students' expectations, highlighting the need for inclusiveness, high-quality education, and meaningful student involvement in shaping the university's future.
As we move forward, let us continue to build a student community that listens, learns, and innovates and rise even after setbacks. I am not here to promise ease. I am here to promise purpose. Let us choose unity. Not because it is simple, but because wisdom demands it.
Professor Per Gomez, the Minister for Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, described the transformation as a key pillar of the country's national development agenda.
We need to act. We must expand access, enhance quality, promote research and innovation, and ensure that our institutions remain responsive to the needs of our economy and society. There's no country that can develop. There will be no sustainable development if we do not have a highly skilled citizenry.
He further revealed that the CSU will eventually extend its operations to the University of the Gambia Kanifing campus once the UTG fully relocates to Faraba. The establishment of the CSU follows a decision by the National Assembly of the Gambia in July 2024 to upgrade major tertiary institutions into universities, including the Gambia College and GTTI. With the addition of the CSU and other upgraded institutions, this is an important milestone expected to improve access to higher education and support the country's growing demand for skilled professionals, including the public sector. Reporting for QTV News, this is Yafatigay.
That is a laudable initiative there. We will now go for a commercial break. After the break, we will have more national news stories for you. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is QTV News, and now to the rest of our stories. Now, excitement is building as QSOL's annual Tobaski and Axtile fashion show makes its highly anticipated return, promising vibrant ambience, stunning creativity, and unforgettable designs. The 2026 edition was launched on Monday at the QSOL Auditorium. Yafatu Gay tells us more.
At the launch of this year's event, QTV hosted a special gathering bringing together participating designers to share their expectations and offer a preview of what audiences can look forward to. Rebound designers praised the initiative, noting its significance in fostering creativity and collaboration within the industry. Malik Mendy, the founder of Malik Mendy Tailoring, highlighted the importance of such initiatives.
This is a rare opportunity to be invited by a TV station to showcase our work. When I started, getting radio or TV advertisements was very difficult and expensive. We must make most of this platform and collaborate with one another.
Designer Chan Kanjalo, founder of Sira Design, highlighted the evolution of Gambia's design scene, encouraging creatives to break conventions and craft genuinely distinctive and innovative styles.
The design space is expansive, encompassing numerous domains. Today's designers are fortunate to have access to grants and sponsorships, which provide support and make it easier to develop truly unique designs and styles.
Alhaji Cham of Cham Creation and Sering Ture of ST Creation thanked the organizers and promised audiences an engaging, visually captivating showcase. They stressed that Tobaski Act Style is not a competition, but a celebration of talent, a platform where designers can freely express themselves and connect with a broader audience. Both also encouraged emerging designers to step forward and participate in future editions. Malika, QTV's managing director, explained that the vision behind the event extends beyond fashion, emphasizing its role in fostering a more unified and self-sustaining creative industry.
This initiative provides a platform to showcase our local designers and nurtures a culture of collaboration, encouraging collective efforts to grow the industry.
Tobaski Act Style 8.0 is more than just a showcase. It will provide a dynamic platform for creativity, unity and growth, uniting designers while inspiring the next generation to dream bigger and redefine style. This year's event will move to a new venue and will take place at Tamala Beach Resort on the 25th of April 2026. Reporting for QTV News, this is Yafat Gay.
The Public Utilities Regulatory Authority, PURA, has presented water quality reagents and testing equipment valued at $1 million to the Department of Water Resources in a move to strengthen the monitoring and provision of safe drinking water nationwide. Let's have more details of that in this report.
The handover forms part of a long-standing partnership between the Public Utilities Regulatory Authority, PURA, and the Department of Water Resources, established under a Memorandum of Understanding signed in 2009. The agreement empowers the Department of Water Resources laboratory to independently test water supplied by utilities such as the National Water and Electricity Company (NAWEC) in line with international quality standards. The tests assess key indicators including bacteriological quality, chlorine levels, pH, and other parameters to ensure that water is safe from source to tap. Speaking on the partnership, Dr. Njoguba, Director General of PURA, said the 17-year collaboration has played a key role in strengthening regulation and improving water quality monitoring systems across the Gambia.
The equipment and reagents being handed over today form part of PURA's continued support to strengthen laboratory capacity and enhance water quality monitoring across the country. Through this partnership, PURA has consistently supported the laboratory with essential reagents and testing equipment amounting to $1 million on a biannual basis, and logistical support for quarterly sample collection and monitoring activities.
Buba Sanyang, Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Fisheries, Water Resources and National Assembly Matters, spoke on the importance of the support.
With reliable testing, we can respond more quickly to potential hazards prevent waterborne diseases, and support the continued development of our country. These materials will enable rendering of specific services such as water quality sampling, analysis, and also the third one, reporting particularly on NAWEC and other water handling and managed institutions.
Fode Conte, Acting Managing Director of the Department of Water Resources and Water Quality Specialist, explained how the new equipment will be used.
So the water should be neutral. It should not be too acidic, and also it should not also be too alkaline. So some of the equipment you've seen today are for that measurement. We also have on the list some equipments which are called electrical conductivity. This sometimes is multimeter. It measures electrical conductivity, that is the ability for water to conduct electricity, but it also measures temperature and also the salinity of the water. You know, when the water is very, very saline, it is normally undrinkable, and the salinity, if it persists, if it is very high, it can also make one to have, decayed teeth.
It could be recalled that NAWEC has also signed a memorandum of understanding with the Department of Water Resources to enhance routine water quality monitoring and strengthen technical capacity within the sector. Reporting for QTV News, I am Julden Yai.
The Gambia Revenue Authority held a workshop to educate West Coast Region taxpayers about the new Integrated Tax Administration System, ITAS. Mam Nabuka witnessed the opening ceremony and she now reports.
The initiative, part of the World Bank's Public Administration Modernization for Citizen-Centric Service Delivery project in the Gambia and supported by the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, seeks to improve tax processes and services. ITAS aims to modernize GRA by automating tax processes and offering electronic services like e-registration, e-filing, and e-payment to reduce the time and effort needed for tax compliance, minimize human intervention, and provide a clear digital footprint for all transactions. Already, citizens can get a range of services and official documents by applying online, including ID cards, driving licenses, and residential permits, to name a few. Recognizing the importance of taxpayer and stakeholder engagement for smooth transition and widespread adoption of the new digital services, the GRA is conducting this sensitization workshop for taxpayers in the West Coast region to raise awareness about ITAS and its features, essentially encouraging their active involvement and feedback to ensure the system's success. Here is Samba Sala, the Deputy Commissioner General of the GRA, expanding on the idea behind the initiative.
We thought that it's very important to involve all the stakeholders during the development process and not just to wait and develop the system and then roll it out to taxpayers for them to use. We want everybody who will in one way or the other interact with the system to be involved from the start, so that it will be a system for the Gambia and not a GRA system.
Ernest A. Mendy, Director of Human Resources and Administration at the GRA, speaking on behalf of Commissioner General Yankuba Dabo, highlighted that this reform is building a tax administration future that leans strictly on the principles of service, transparency, and integrity.
It will reduce compliance burden on taxpayers, minimize opportunities for fraud and corruption, and ultimately enhance domestic revenue mobilization for the continued development of our nation. However, for ITAS to be a resounding success, we need the buy-in and active participation of all stakeholders.
Mari Sar, Deputy Commissioner responsible for small and medium taxpayers at the GRA, shed light on what will come next following the conclusion of the workshop.
If any suggestion came and was not included in our plan, we will consult our consultants, that is the system developers, for them to adjust to put on board those suggestions that are coming from this workshop, so that the system is a system that will work for both the GRA and for the taxpayers. We have a plan to go around the country to do sensitization in each region And we did this last year. This also another round. We'll select different participants this time to make sure the coverage in terms of sensitization is wider.
The successful implementation of ITAS is anticipated to foster a culture of voluntary compliance among taxpayers, ultimately contributing to the country's economic growth and stability. Mam Nabuka, reporting for QTV News.
That report there brings us to the end of this news bulletin. Do join us again tomorrow at 8 p.m. for another news bulletin. Until then, it's a bye from us and enjoy the rest of our programs.